The benefits of living walls, and then I'll show you some case study examples as well. So, I mean, there are a lot of different systems on the market today, but I really will just focus on the four most used systems. So we have the panel systems. The panel system is really typically a system that uses rock wool. It is a pre-grown system. So typically the lead times on a panel system, pre-grown system, are long. So it's a more costly system. Then we have the tray systems, which we have actually here behind us. It's probably the easiest system to put up. The plants actually stay in the nursery pot, so it's easy to replace plants if you want to add some color, some seasonal color. It's easy to swap it out. Pot rack system is really the same. It's not really widely used anymore, but it's still in the slide deck here. And then we have the container systems, which is really a basic planter, attached to the wall, and you actually direct plant your plants into the troughs. It is a fairly easy system, low cost as well. The only issue is that it takes a lot of time to grow it in, right? Because you plant up the plants in the troughs, and you're going to have you're going to see the planters. So it takes a good time to grow it in. Probably the lowest cost system out there would be your felt system, which you do see a lot out there. There's one major issue with felt. It does have a lifespan, typically 4 to 5 years. The reason for that is, you have water going onto the backing, and then the felt actually, takes up the water from the backing. What happens over time is the plant roots will grow through and push against the back, so it will separate the felt from typically a plastic backing where the water runs onto, and you will get gaps, and then over time you'll see a lot of dead spots in the wall. So I mean, it's a cheap system, but it definitely has a lifespan. Some alternatives, really an easy one is the trellis system, which we typically see exterior. It's really a trellis attached to a wall. You put the plants in the ground and it just grows up. Cheap, but it does take a long time to fill up the whole wall with plants. Moss is an option, and we have a sample right there. And it's a preserved product that you really only can use indoors in spaces where you do not have any direct sunlight. So just a quick overview of typically what a living wall looks like. What is it built up from? You have the soil system, hydroponic system, so a tray system where you have the potted plants. That would be a soil system. And the pre-grown panel systems typically use rock wool, which is a hydroponic system, right? So the system also typically comes with irrigation, although smaller walls you can also manually water. So it's pretty. So there's a whole bunch of ways to irrigate the living wall. And then of course the structural support. How is it attached to a wall? So there's different. Some systems you actually have to install every single tray or panel to a wall, or like this system we have behind us, uses like a grid system, so you'll have less penetrations on your wall as well. Drainage is important, especially if you want to automate a system. One of the reasons is because you don't want to have a flood in your hands, right? I have seen some projects where they decided to have an automated system with no drain, right?
No moisture sensor?
No moisture sensors, and they had a valve that stuck open, and there was a huge mess. So it's definitely something you want to keep in mind, right? So it's amazing. Yeah, that benefits, of course. I mean, that's why do you put a living wall into a space, right? Because there's huge benefits for it. I mean, it's pretty, right? So I mean, I think it definitely has an aesthetic benefit. You know, you put the plants on the wall, so it frees up real estate. But I think the major benefit of the living wall is really the health and the wellness effects it has. It really calms people down. One thing I really love about living walls, when I used to install a lot of walls myself, and the one thing I love is reducing stress. So access, we will talk about it a little bit, so that's a really important one. Lighting as well. Water, so how are you going to water it? So, you know, is it fully automated? So you have to think about where we're going to put the drain, where we're going to put electrical, where's the water going to come from, right? So those are points you have to really think about early on, so you don't have to think about those things when you're already in the process. I mean, I've been in projects where somebody forgot to put a floor drain in, and we were, you know, I mean, that's an issue, right? So they had to come back after they already poured the concrete floor and then pour for the drain. So that's a dumb mistake. But it's little, you know, mistakes that you really want to prevent, and bring in experts like interior bring them in early so they can help you figure out where all those you know, services need to be. So access. So if you're going to put a plant on a wall, you need to be able to get to it, right? So I have done one project where we put the wall up and we came back, so we needed a lift to service the wall. The issue was that the property manager actually decided to put furniture in front of the wall, but they bolted it down to the floor, right? So we came in to service the wall and we couldn't because there was all this furniture in front of it. So nobody really thought about it. So like I said, I mean, especially if you have a tall wall, you need to be able to bring either a scissor lift or, you know, we've done projects where you just rappel down, right? You come down, use a postman's chair, but those are things to think about. But you also need to be able to access all your irrigation components. I mean, stuff breaks, you know, drip lines get clogged, so you need to be able to replace those when needed. So it's just always a good idea to think about how we're going to get to it, how are we going to service it, because it's super important. And then we come to lighting. So this is a pet peeve of mine. So Shane earlier talked about lighting. Most walls that fail is because of this issue. You just do not add enough lights, or not the right amount of light to a living wall. But you know, the price of a living wall ranges. There's a big range. You know, like probably 100. It's not even close. About 150. $300 a square foot installed. But the taller your wall is, the more that could be. I mean, although if you look at the system, if you have a small living wall and it has a fully automated system on it, it's going to be a lot more expensive per square foot than if it's you know, a huge wall. So the price will come down when the wall gets bigger. So. Yeah, maintenance is important, and this is really something where the interior scapers come in again. So if the client doesn't want to do maintenance, then really should not put in the living wall. And put in some preserved moss or something else. You really have to think about it, because to really have a sustainable living wall, you really need to have a maintenance budget set up as well. And that maintenance will vary as well greatly. So taller the wall, you have to think about lifts again. So that's something you have to think about. To definitely talk with your interior scapers beforehand. Is this something my client wants to do, right? So And here's just some quick, case studies. So this was actually in Texas. So, and this is a tray system. So some of these numbers are a little outdated. So we have to actually update some of that. But what's that? Yeah, I know it's on my list, but with the full CU course, we have multiple case studies we present for different types of walls. So this is a tray system, but we also have this is actually an active living wall, which is actually connected to your HVC system, which pulls the air through, through the wall and through the soil. So that's it. What's that? Yeah, no, it is very expensive though. So I mean, this, like I said, the prices don't really look at that, but we definitely will update that. But this is just a quick preview of the CU course. So if there's any questions, let me know. But,
all right, I'd like to say thank you to Jean-Pierre. Number one, I'd like to say thank you for ASI, who is a big supporter of green plants. And they did, if you want to check out the living wall, their trays are right here. And also, they started in the last year or so doing custom